What's up? What's up, everybody? This little document I have printed out, I'm going to read off and do a little explanation for you. Why Planets Will Never Be Defined. It was written by Robert Roy Britt, a senior science writer at space.com on November 21st, 2006. Before the dust even settled after the Great Pluto War at the International Astronomical Union, IAU's General Assembly in Prague, one thing became clear. There will never be an accepted definition for the term planet. That's quoted. Any terminology that might be relevant to our little solar system will be laughably inadequate if applied across the galaxy. Basically, Jeffrey Marcy from the University of California in Berkeley summed it up. I'll go ahead and quote him. Quote, "Your questions imply that a definition of the word planet is useful scientifically. This is a view not shared by many professional planetary scientists," Marcy replied. Quote, "The astrophysics of planetary bodies is so rich and complex that defining planet has never been an issue under discussion among professionals. So some of your questions read to me like the old phrase, why did you stop beating, or when did you stop beating your wife? The taxonomy of asteroids, comets, moons, planets, and brown dwarfs is far too limited to capture the diversity of their origins and internal constitutions." End quote. Diverse indeed. During 2006, the tally of known extrasolar planets surpassed 200. Now it's over 1950, which are, according to them, confirmed exoplanets. And the range of sizes and setups illustrates why a universal definition is impossible in light of the fact that scientists are sharply divided on what to call Pluto. They've been arguing since 1990 concerning this. As well, it's a little known fact that nearly 25% of the known extrasolar planets are in binary or multiple star systems, said Stephen Kordenkamp, a research associate at the University of Maryland. Quote, "That further complicates the notion of creating a universal definition of planet." Eventually, astronomers could find two Earth-sized objects orbiting each other around a center of gravity in the space between them, Laughlin said. Other worlds might be accompanied by planet-sized Trojans that move with them in a horseshoe-shaped pattern. The present IAU definition, requiring a planet to clear out the path of its orbit, is not set up to handle such offbeat configurations. It's also possible that two planet mass objects could be found orbiting each other with no star involved. Now, what this all leads me to understand, in light of the theory I had developed, is they are so obsessed with trying to keep things the way they were, and then when they find a huge issue which alienates huge amounts of astronomers from the International Astronomical Union, they don't look back at what their prior assumptions were. They don't ever question what it is they're taught in school, regardless if that's where the answer lies. It's like they want to fix the symptoms of a disease, but not the disease itself. They take the approach of a doctor. They say, well, we can just fix the symptoms of depression with some antipsychotic or serotonin limiting or serotonin drugs or dopamine type drugs or things like that. They want to fix the symptoms, but the depression is caused by something that happened to you in your past, and you need to get it out of your mind, talk about it, or you need to change your lifestyle, or you need to change your diet, or you need to change the habits and things you think about, or, you know, there are a wide range of things that could fix the root issue. And that's what these astronomers, they're ignoring the root issue. Not only that, but they outright admitted that they believe that the word planet doesn't need to be defined. So, here's a planet, here's a planet, here's a planet, and here's a planet. Now we can see why making a definition for planets is actually very scientifically valid. Because they can't make a definition means there's something deeply rooted that's incorrect about their beliefs and of their way of doing things. That's why they can't come to a reasonable definition. And I know you want to hear this, but the fix is actually quite simple. To fix the asteroids, comets, moons, planets, brown dwarfs, and all the ranges of stellar evolution, what you need to do is realize that they're not set inside of one specific time frame, that they're actually different stages of a star's evolution. So for instance, you have a brown dwarf. It's not that it's a failed star because it's not as big as a star like the sun is now. It's a very old star. It's gone through many, many billions of years of evolution. It eventually stops shining. Maybe it's bright in the infrared. And over many more billions of years, it'll collect a lot of material in the center and form what's called the rocky structure in its center, or the planet, and differentiate that structure, for instance. But I don't think that these astronomers are ever going to realize it, because they have stellar evolution as being something mutually exclusive of planet formation. But the truth is that as the star cools and dies, it becomes the planet. So in order to define a planet, we can keep its Greek definition of wandering star, and if that's problematic, all you have to do is find the moments of inertia of the object and see if it's differentiated. Callisto isn't differentiated, so it's probably the remains of a stellar collision. But if the object has a differentiated core, then chances are it had a lot of time to differentiate its interior, meaning it was a lot less solid in the past, meaning it was gaseous and then probably even plasmatic, meaning the differentiation process happened as it was cooling, shrinking, and dying, and it left the most stable rocky / iron nickel type material in its center. So yes, Earth is a planet, and the Sun is a very young planet. Jupiter is a planet. If they want to find out if Pluto is a genuine planet, all they have to do is find out if it has a spherical differentiated interior. Then it will be a planet. But if it's undifferentiated, then it's not a planet. It's as simple as that. So, this leads me to the realization that these rifts probably still exist inside of the astronomical community. But as we all know, the fix is well above and beyond them, because they have stars as nuclear reactors and they base everything on that, which is, like I said in an earlier talk, the hard place. This is the hard place, and the rock is defining planets. So they're stuck between a hard place and a rock. But what they don't realize is that that hard place was a series of ideas that was invented before stellar evolution was actually understood. So basically, theoretical ideas and imagination became dogma before there was any questioning of it. It became real before we could actually test out the idea to see if it was plausible. As well, other worlds might be accompanied by planet-sized Trojans that move in a horseshoe-shaped pattern. The orbital characteristics for defining a planet are irrelevant. We're going to find things moving all about, all over the place, and they're not going to be in these circular orbits. A lot of them are going to be elliptical. A lot of them are going to be moving in horseshoe-shaped patterns. So yes, it's a very strange universe out there. But to outright say that defining a planet is unimportant scientifically, like Jeff Marcy did at the University of California in Berkeley, that isn't what a scientist does. A scientist makes clear, unambiguous, reasonable, understandable definitions for things. That way they can clearly communicate what they're talking about. Or else we can just call this a planet too. Today is September 19th, 2015. Everybody have a good day.